All right, thank you so much. Here the program still this morning on ITV on Independent Television. I have Mr. Vincent now Obedi, who is a Honorable Vincent Obedi, a politician and also a public affairs analyst. And also too, we have Mr. Ojo Imafidon, and a politician too in his own right, and also a public affairs analyst. So we're going to be looking at the policies, economic policies of BAT. That's Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president, the 16th president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We're going to be looking at the pros and the cons of the economic policies. Now, these economic policies came to the fore on the first inaugural speech that the president made, the very first speech he made, where he talked about a whole lot. He mentioned issues around, the creation of 1 million jobs, data jobs now for the youths, and also he also talked about the cancellation of double taxation as it relates to manufacturers. Then also, he also talked about the need for us to increase on our GDP, a situation whereby the GDP is believed to have gone below 23.7%. He said that that is not good enough for a country that really tends to advance as far as the scheme of things are concerned. Now, what are the pros? What are the cons of this economic policy statements? You may want to say that the president talked about at the inaugural speech. So let's begin to talk about them here. And also, too, let's also see the possibility now of this administration achieving these policies, because for a lot of persons, they are just mere statements now. So let's see how this administration actualizes them. Of course, there's no way you can talk about the inaugural speech now without talking about the removal of the fuel subsidy that Nigerians are going through now. It was also in that inauguration that the president told Nigerians that fuel subsidy is no more an issue in other countries. In other words, the government has stopped paying fuel subsidy. And we have seen that that has also begun to have some reactions and counter-reactions on Nigerians. So the guests are ready, and I'm sure that you are also ready out there as a viewer of this program this morning. So all you need to do is to just, sit back, and the next 35 minutes or more, we're going to be looking at all these issues together. Gentlemen, you're welcome to the program this morning on ITV.
Thank you, Evans.
All right. Now
good morning, viewers out there.
You're welcome. So just
good morning, Evans. Yeah. Good morning, viewers out there.
All right, you're welcome, Honorable Vincent. Now, just as we said a while ago, that the issues, policies now, creating jobs, 1 million jobs, data jobs for the youth, the need to, train the youth and all that, and the need for manufacturers not to go through double taxation, because it has been one major issue. Then we also saw some of the policies that gave rise to the privatization of generation of electricity in the country, because that's one big major issue in the country. I'll start with you, Honorable Vincent. How do we start reacting to these policies that we are looking at?
Yes, good morning, viewers. Let's start with the issue of fuel subsidy removal as one of the policy of the new administration. Actually, I don't really see anything too good when it comes to the issue of fuel subsidy removal, because the people of Nigerians, the ordinary man, the ordinary citizen of Nigeria, they are passing through a lot before now and as present as well. It's just like, I see it as somebody who will go to an intensive care unit or to go and meet a patient on the oxygen and start demanding for blood. Because Nigerians today, they are going through hell. Today we are the world capital poverty. We are the world, yes, capital poverty, capital of poverty in the world. So how can you, all of a sudden, in your first inaugural day, just decide to remove fuel subsidy and ask people to begin to pay so much money on fuel? The fuel subsidy issue, when the APC government, even the present president was in opposition, they said it was a fraud. Not like fuel subsidy. Yes, the issue of fuel subsidy fraud, to a very large extent, it's just like the government has succeeded in removing it from the government and now they are not defrauding the masses. If you want to remove fuel subsidy, which is not the way they're supposed to go about it, if you want to remove fuel subsidy, the first thing you're supposed to do is that you look at the people, what is it that they are passing through? How do I enumerate this effect of a fuel subsidy that we are going to remove? Then outside that, you look at issues. People talk about stealing in oil. They say oil theft. People talk about oil theft. People talked about the number of liters that are being consumed by Nigerians, that all these are being inflated. They also talked about the issue of stealing our petroleum products from here to other neighboring African countries. Why not block those loopholes? If you block those loopholes, and the money that's supposed to be, the money that we are losing through those loopholes, through the oil theft, through the food that is being taken to other countries, if you block those, the government is supposed to have enough money to cushion this effect of a fuel subsidy in Nigeria. So whatever you are able to save from there, whatever you intend to do with this present fuel subsidy, you start it first and see how you can provide solution to the problem of the Nigeria. What is the solution? Solution to the problem of poverty in Nigeria. Once you're able to sustain that to an extent, before you now say, okay, let's remove poverty totally. Then outside that, there are a lot of other avenues that Nigeria can make money, apart from the issue of fuel subsidy removal. Mr. President talked about fuel subsidy removal, talked about empowering youth, creating jobs, and things like that. Most of these words will be hearing even before the former administration left, one of President Buhari. A lot of promises were made. All these promises are just promises on paper. People come up on board, tell us stories, they will do this, they will do that, whereas they do not actually have a good template. They don't have that intention to actually do that. They just think of, oh, what are the people want to hear? What are those things people want to hear? All things that will tell them, that will make them happy, that will make them feel, oh, thank God, maybe a Messiah have come. They just say those things, whether they do the other, they do the negative side of what they've said. Let's look at from Okada Junction to say Lagos. We have forest. We have bushes all over the place between along the express road now from Okada to Lagos. By the left or the right hand side, you have forests, you have bushes where government can go into agriculture to produce something. Like let's take for instance, like this war between Russia and Ukraine. They said because of the war we were unable to import grains. For that we had issues. Why not make use of those bushes from here to Lagos? Okay, let not make use of bushes from Auchi to Okene, plant these grains, plant palm oil to raise money for the country instead of retaxing. Instead of asking Nigeria, who's already dying of poverty, to begin to pay so much money for fuel.
Let me pause you there. I think I'm going to come to you. You said that the president removed the fuel subsidy. How comes to you? Because the president did not remove the fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy that we know has been an age-long thing is a matter of the Constitution. The petroleum industrial, bill was sent to the National Assembly, and of course it went through plenary sittings, and eventually it was signed in by the former president. So let's leave that there. We're going to come to that.
We'll take effect from
the president. This only president came to tell us that fuel subsidy is no more there. It doesn't mean that the president actually removed. That has been the perception that a lot of Nigerians have carried on in their minds, that Tinubu removed the fuel subsidy. That we're saying this here so that viewers out there we know the right, perspective, the right thing in the right perspective. So that's for that. All right, so Mr. Ojoy Mafido, we are looking at economic policies now of BATS. That's Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the 16th president of Nigeria. There's no doubt that it is not the first time that we're having a president making policy statements and all that. And the most interesting thing is that Nigerians, as they are, will always see that those policies come to bear or not. So let's weigh the pros and cons, the advantage and disadvantages of some of this policy. He's talked about the fuel subsidy thing, which most Nigerians are concerned. Nigeria as a nation now doesn't pay fuel subsidy anymore. But don't you think there are advantages, in this policy direction that the present administration is embarking on?
Thank you very much, Evans. And for me, I guess it's too early to start judging the present government because it just came in. So I think if we were to start judging them, the policies they intend putting in place or they've started, which I've not seen any yet, I think we should give them maybe like 6 months to at least 1 year. And talking about the fuel subsidy removal, sometimes I ask myself, what is subsidy? What are you subsidizing? And this same subsidy issues was still bringing in 2023. President Goodluck Jonathan tried removing it, I guess, 2012 then. And we also what happened in Ojota and every other places in Nigeria then. And I guess with the way that man wanted, the then president wanted to remove this fuel subsidy, he didn't just want to remove them once. He said it's going to be step by step or batch by batch, at least because of the way, because you can imagine with from 189 to, because the other one we're buying before this period, I guess it was like black market price. You understand? So you can just remove it from 189 or even 220 or 230 to 530, and you expect the masses to be happy, or you expect the masses to be comfortable with the way you just brought everything and did everything. And when you talk about subsidy, I guess our politicians or our leaders, they just wake up and they do things the way they want to do it. There are ways that you do these things that even the masses will not suffer from it. The masses won't even feel any negative effect from your policies. Let me put it like that. I guess, let me use Edo State as a case study. When Governor Obaseki came in, I don't know if it works in the downstream sector, but I'm just looking at it from a layman point of view. When Governor Obaseki came in, I guess 2016, the first thing he did, he said it's not right for contractors to be collecting tax for the government, right? And then there were things he put in place whereby sometimes when I'm driving in Benin and I see most markets, or there are some tax enforcers that you see them with, I don't know if it's
with some gadgets.
With some gadgets,
yeah.
And then they collect taxes, and that tax is straight to the government purse. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah.
Now, why can't our government at the top do something similar? When I mean something similar, you're talking about subsidy. Now, can you imagine a whole federal government will have to pay some contractors to go to foreign refineries, then they'll not get this fuel and they'll bring it to Nigeria. We have NNPC. I guess we have Ministry of Petroleum. We have a Minister of Petroleum who happens to be the then past president. Okay, why can't our ministries, or we have people that are in charge of those kind of transactions? I guess if it's the government that is transacting this business with these foreign companies, I don't think the prices which these contractors will have to inflate to get this fuel down to Nigeria will have it. And considering when Goodluck Jonathan was there, the amount of fuel we were consuming was about 30 million liters a day. Now, when President Muhammadu Buhari came in, before he even came in, when they asked him about subsidy, he said there was nothing like subsidy. And then this guy came in and increased the fuel consumption from 30 million to 60 million. Do you know since...
Who increased it now?
No, I mean the government then. They told us, because you are not in government, I'm not there. I don't know the regulatory body that checks the amount of fuel we consume. Okay, they told us that fuel was the amount of fuel increased consumed
increased.
Then was now about 60 million
liter
per day, which we all knew it was not right, it was not proper, because these contractors, they would just inflate. You know, they are all contractors and political contractors, and I guess this subsidy remover, I don't think this government is sincere with it, because you might just wake up tomorrow and then they'll tell you they are still subsidizing this fuel, and they'll just wake up and then they'll increase it somehow.
All right, so gentlemen, just like what we said a while ago, that it's one thing for us in the media space. It's very, very common for us to hear things like, even at times I'm tempted to want to say that this administration actually brought hardship to Nigerians by removing the fuel subsidy. But a while ago, I explained it that BAT did not remove the fuel subsidy. I mean, the fuel subsidy removal it was a matter of the law with the petroleum industry, bill that was, went through a series of hearings at the federal legislature, the National Assembly and all that. No. Eventually, then of course it got the accents of the then presidents of the Senate and eventually of the president of the Senate, and eventually got the accents of Mr. President. So that bill was to take off from this June. So that culminated into Nigeria having a new president now in the name of Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So let us be careful with the way we say that president removed the fuel subsidy.
We're not saying the president removed fuel subsidy. If we are to, we're practicing democracy, right? And democracy is government of the people. And when you said government of the people, you are supposed to take care of the people. I don't know if you understand. So I'm not saying the president. The president is just is one of the should I say one of president is one of there are different arms of government. I don't know if you understand. So he's one of the arms of government.
Let me come to Mr. Ogbedi now. Now, truth be told, let's look inward at the fuel subsidy thing. We all know, we've all accepted, we are in this country, we've all accepted and we all know that the refineries are not working, they are in comatose. They have fully dilapidated. And for Nigeria as a nation to want to revamp those refineries, perhaps that's a talk for another day. But let's look at something. It's a common sense. I mean, for something that some businessmen do business with, they go, they buy, then they come and they claim that this is what they bought at. So you subsidize for us so that we can reduce the price. It's a common sense. You let those businessmen go and buy the way you buy and bring it down to sell the way you bought. It's a common sense. I think that's what has played out in the fuel subsidy removal, Honorable Vincent.
Yes, before I come to your question, let me re-emphasize on what I said before. You said it was not BAT that removed fuel subsidy. If the Constitution says the federal government should start paying Nigerian civil servants 1 million naira a month, for instance, and BAT implemented it, who will you say is paying that money? Is it BAT or it's not him? You say President Bola Tinubu's regime is paying the Nigerian workers 1 million naira per month.
We're talking about a matter of the law.
If the law says, if the law says Nigerian civil servants should be earning 1 million naira per month, and President Tinubu now implemented it, who will you say is paying?
Okay, but
President Tinubu implemented the payment of so the same thing applicable to the fuel subsidy.
I'll leave it there for the purpose of but the point is this. The fuel subsidy removal thing, I think...
We are not saying it's unconstitutional. If we are saying it's unconstitutional, they will not say, no, it's constitutional that empower him to remove it. He removed it, because you empower him to remove it.
Let's leave it there. That he removed it, the constitution empower him to remove it and all that. He only made the pronouncement. He allowed Nigerians to know that with effect from this time...
But if he had not said it, if he had not said it, as at the day he said it, immediately he made that pronouncement. The fuel prices triggers. So if he had not said it that day, maybe for the next week, 1 week or 1 month thereabout, because the question was President Buhari said from end of June. From end of June, there will not be, there's no provision for subsidy from end of June this year. But by May 29th, the whole thing changed.
Okay, let
me leave that. Yeah. You talked about the issue of it wasn't fair for marketers to go and buy, and tell the government how much we bought with, so that we can sell to the ordinary Nigerians. So if not that, nothing actually is wrong with that. What is wrong is this. He just made sure of consumption of 60 million barrel, I think to our around March or there about 60 million liters per day. I think about 2 weeks or so, now say it was 66 million there about. But the fact is that Nigeria cannot consume that much. That number of that liters of fuel in a day. So we know that. So what we are saying here is just that
When you say we know that, from what source? Where are we getting our information from? Is what you think that you think we
It is true.
Yes,
So what happens now? We are consuming about.
The truth is
it's not going up to 20 meters.
The truth is this: what's the population of Nigeria? How many Nigeria has vehicles? How many Nigeria uses fuel? Let's assume if Nigeria is, let's say we are about 200 something million thereabout. Those in the rural areas, those rural areas, they are about let's say half of Nigerian population are in the rural area. It does not have business with fuel at times for a week, at times for 2 weeks. Like some places don't even live there. Some places are in camp, in villages. They don't live there in a week, in a month time. They have no business with fuel. They use this normal kerosene lantern like that. So if you remove that 50%, for instance, and look at the remaining 50%, the remaining 50%, how many are in the hospital? How many are, so you look how much fuel are they consuming? The remaining, let's at the end of the day, those who are active in the urban area from our population, they are not more than say about 40 or 30%.
All right. So what we are saying is that
are they the one consuming that number of fuel?
Okay. So that figure is not
I don't think it's feasible. I don't think it's correct. So I would say that the issue of, let me come back to your question, the issue of purchasing and ask government to subsidize to buy like that. Nothing is actually wrong with it. But the truth is this: when you look at the people you are leading, the people you are governing, and Nigerians now, you look at their condition, you look at their financial power, you look at how are they living. So for you to just all of a sudden say, oh, right, like the other day talked about market taxes on VAT on market, whatever, I'm coming there. So if you look at the way Nigerians are living, and that's okay. Instead of removing this thing suddenly like this, to plug into more hardship, why not think of a way of removing this thing so that at the end of the day, the people will not actually feel it the way they are feeling it now? I tell you, Mr. Evans, as we are here today now, in the next 2-3 months, if this continues like this, it's going to be very difficult. You see, you're going to see the crime rate will go up. Somebody called me with here, said the wife was sick. And he needed about 300,000 naira. I said, my brother, where will I get such money from? He called me about 4 days and said his wife actually died.
As a result of, like, he couldn't get...
No, he ended up to get 300,000. Okay, imagine a woman who could not save 300,000 for the number of years she have traded before her death. The husband is a bus driver. Both could not save. She wanted to give to birth, or to cesarean section, things like that. The woman couldn't save that amount. They want to ask such people now to start paying 530 naira or 520 or 511 as the case may be for fuel. It's not. It's going to be very difficult for Nigeria. So what we are saying is, if you want to remove fuel subsidy, you know something. No matter what the constitution has, if it's going to tell you, oh, kill all Nigerians, and you feel that killing all Nigerians is wrong, you apply your own knowledge. Okay, don't worry. You can apply. You can approach the House again and say, okay, let's see how we can make this area of this
the
thing.
Constitution.
Like that's how we can make this area or adjust this area. If you're going to say, okay, remove fuel subsidy by June, for instance, and by June you did not remove it, you come out and address the public. Say, okay, because of reason A, B, C, or D, we can't do this now, but we will do it. Nobody will go there and kill you. Nobody will say, oh, because you did not do this, you must leave the office. Okay.
All right. So let's look at some other policy statements now that the president also talked about at that inauguration, which this administration is also, which people are holding this administration onto. That's the one that has to do with the creation of 100 million digital jobs for youths. I want to direct that question to you now, Mr. Ojiri Mafido. For most people, this is not realizable. And when you say digital jobs now, for most people, they see that as one of those, policies that government will talk about and they don't come to realize it. But let's look at it from the other way around. Now, there's a whole lot of unemployment in Nigeria. There's no doubt about it. A lot of people don't have jobs. But don't you also think that jobs are maybe there, but that the youths, they don't take advantage of the available jobs that government tries to introduce and that government talks about?
Well, Evans, for me, the government does not have business in creating jobs. You know, they say talk is cheap. your duty as a government is to create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. And when the environment is okay, you see jobs coming in. I don't know if you understand. So, you know, in this part of the world, sometimes when politicians are campaigning, I tend to wonder how would these people just come up with things you know is not feasible, but because this is what the people want to hear. Look at, let's use Edo State as an example now. Okay, we're talking about that subsidy just now. Edo State, the Edo State government, Edo State now have about 2 modular refinery. I don't know if you understand. Now, do you know how many jobs?
Are they functional?
No, they of course, you know, depends on when the federal government, I don't know, like the one in Ologbo.
Are they functional?
I don't know yet.
They are not functional.
No,
so.
like, I don't, you know, these things takes due process and all that.
No,
what I'm saying, I'm not talking about I'm not advertising the refinery. I'm talking about the job creation. Now, you're telling me you create 1 million jobs and all that. Okay, where is the plans? I don't know if you understand. Are you telling me you want to recruit our youth on, let's say, in our military uniform, sorry.
Recruit boys to military.
You know, military and all that. That one is not job. When you're talking about you creating jobs, you create an enabling environment.
I said the policy says that.
No, it's not. It's just these were just mere statements.
Digital job.
These were just mere statements. You're talking about digital job when you're close to 80. You're not even used to digital life. You will see during the time of President Olusegun Obasanjo.
Mr. Mavido, you know, the point is what we're trying.
And sir, during the time of President Olusegun Obasanjo, we saw how he revolutionized entertainment industry, whereby comedians now, the present-day comedians, they are all big boys in town. Concept of how Obasanjo gave them the enabling environment to thrive. We see the entertainment industries and all that. So if you're telling me you create jobs, how are you going to create these jobs?
How is it going to create these jobs?
Yes, you're talking about digital jobs. Like the digital market is already there. There's nothing new you want to introduce. All we ask from you, like this, the power sector.
Let me ask
this. Like this power sector, they just did for us now. I don't know if you understand. Do you know if we have constant light in this country, there is security and there are good roads, jobs to come in.
Okay, but let me come to you. I agree that the digital world is already there. The internet space is there.
Yes.
But do you know that a lot of people, a lot of youngsters, they want to be trained in the digital job, in the digital world?
That is what I'm saying. Like the last administration, we all saw how crypto was banned in Nigeria. I don't know if you understand. Because they saw a lot of our youth were going, because the people that are in the ends of our affair, they are not used to this kind of system.
Now, when we say digital, it doesn't. Let's look at it this way: you can be a farmer, you can be an agriculturalist, and yet you're in the digital space. Are you aware of that?
Of course I know.
You can be a farmer. All you need to do is to let your produce be on the internet.
And it's been there before. If you go on Facebook, you see people even selling their pairs of shoes online.
But do you know that a lot of youths don't know how to put those items there?
Oh, it's not the federal government that will not teach them how to.
That's what the federal government. That's the policy statement.
That means they don't mean business, because if they mean business, they're supposed to be talking about. Because if you're telling me that's what the government wants to start teaching us, the youth, me myself, I can teach my peers. Let me put it like that. So you're telling me creating those kind of jobs, that's what they are there for. To me, is somehow.
Anyway, let's leave that alone now. Let's come to the issue of the double taxation that we also talked about, that the policy statement also tried to explain. That the issue of double taxation as relates to manufacturers in the country has been a big problem. The president has promised that his administration is going to look into it. Because what happens is this: when manufacturers are double taxed, obviously the effect goes down to the consumer. Take, for example, you used to pay maybe 100,000 naira as tax. Because of double taxation, you now pay 200,000 naira. Obviously, the implication of it is that your products in the market is going to go high. There's no doubt about that. But the president has told us that manufacturers are no more going to be double taxed. Let's look at it from that angle, Honorable Vincent.
Thank you, Evans. Before I go into your question, let me just dabble into the issue of digital job creation a little bit. So it all depends on what the government means by digital job creation. The young boys are into digital job. The cyber cafe, if you other people you see digital, they are into digital world. The issue of saying I want to create 1 million, 100 million digital job, I see it as just trying to say something. I need to say something to make people happy. If you want to do such thing, you don't need to come put it into our school curriculum. We have people in school, we have youths who are in school. Put this digital training into our school curriculum. Make it compulsory, like we have maths and English. The children will learn from there. You don't need to say, like the other man, they said they spend about 70-something billion naira to train how many people on how to repair handsets. So they just come up with things like that. So they use to siphon money. You don't need to tell them, you don't need to train anybody digital. Put it to your school curriculum. That's all. Then that one will take off itself. Then the issue of double taxation. You know, the president said he wants to tackle the issue of double taxation. How realistic is it? How serious are they in tackling this issue? See, the other time, the last time I checked, they said they've enumerated about 40 million traders already. About 40 million traders already. And I think about barely a week or two after the inauguration, the daughter said she was the Yaloja General of Nigeria. I don't know if I started to be corrected here.
That the daughter said?
The daughter of TINUBU said she was the Yaloja General of Nigeria.
If she is not, she cannot say she is. So it's possible that she's. I know that in Lagos, the TINUBU'S family.
Yeah, she's the Yaloja of Lagos.
Yeah.
But the Yaloja General of Nigeria now. So what I'm trying to say is this. What I'm trying to say is this. Now, how do we create this office for this self-acclaimed Yaloja General of Nigeria? Okay, you and you go and put pen and paper together, come up with something. Okay, let's say double taxation. If people are taxed abnormally, and you know that people are being taxed abnormally, as a government, what do you do? If you know that no state actor, like what my friend made mention of the other time, when Baseki came on board in his first tenure, he said non-state actors were the one collecting revenue for government. That he doesn't want it. He stopped it and implemented this scratch card, whatever. If you know that people are being double taxed, who are those that are double taxing these people? You're going to stop it. You are the president of Nigeria.
Yeah, that's what the president has said. He said he's going to stop them. That's what he has said.
You don't need to tell us.
He doesn't need to say
no,
it. He doesn't say. How does
like,
it make the economic statement known?
No, it's just the issue of what I'm saying, because people we want to say things that people want to hear, that they'll be happy with you. You don't need to say it. Like that time, before the inauguration, the DSS say they've a cover plan to stop. You don't need to tell a cover plan. If you've arrest those people, and you don't need to come and tell us that you have a cover plan. You're like, as I was coming here today now, I will pick my phone, start calling people, I want to go to TV. I don't need to. What I'm saying, action speaks louder than words.
Okay.
If you don't need to start telling us you want to stop the taxation, if you know that there are things that are not proper, that is unconstitutional, going on before you come aboard as a president, you stop there. You don't need to start advertising it.
Okay, let's try to.
If you look at the interest, the areas you're supposed to look into, like issue of interest rate for manufacturers, area of enabling environment, power to run your business, security for the business owners, good road for them to move to transport their goods and services. Those are things the government should be talking about. You don't even need to come and advertise it for us. As a president, we know your duty, part of your duty was to secure us as Nigerians, to create an environment for business, to give us good roads so we can move from one place to the other, to move our goods from one place to the other. If we see you doing those things, as I'm not doing now, the president is doing A, B, C, and D. People will hear from there. That's what this our present governor of Edo State. I respect him a lot because he does not do media propaganda.
No.
He will now carry all the media stations in Edo State and start moving from one place. Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. No.
Media government.
If you go to today now, this free Wi-Fi. In some areas.
There's no
but I've never seen it on this thing.
There's no government that doesn't have a policy statement. Even the Edo State governor, he makes some policy statements at times. Of course it does. So, when we say policy statements, we are not talking about government that comes on air to want to advertise what he's doing and what he's not doing. Now, what policy statements do is that policy statements gives people the opportunity for them to know what the government intends to do.
I know.
So those things that government intends to do now is what we are talking about. We are looking at the advantages of them. Of what advantage is it going to be to us as a nation, and of what disadvantage is it going to be to us as a nation. Hence, we started with the fuel subsidy removal. Yes. I know that the pain is enormous now. Most times, the pain doesn't allow us to see the gain that we all stand to gain in the later on. So those advantages and disadvantages is what we intend to talk about here. So that's what we're saying. So it's not as if maybe we're trying to politicize because the president is in APC, maybe some other persons are in PDP and all. That's not what we're trying to do.
Okay. Let's look at it from that angle now. That if actually they are going to do those things, that's what you're saying now.
Yeah.
But we are looking at it because they've made a lot of policy statements before now.
And I told you that there's no government that doesn't make, even the Obaseki you talked about, Obaseki makes policy statements.
Yeah, so we are looking at if actually they are going to implement these things, what are the gains
of it, what are not the gains of it.
They are good policy statements. They are all good policy statements. If they actually implement it, like the issue of double taxation, it is wrong to be double taxed anywhere on earth. Maybe the state government will come and say, okay, pay this for tenement, or pay this for income tax. Local government will come, the same person, pay this for tenement. Federal government will come, the same person, pay this for this, like that. So instead of all those multiple taxation, you come up with maybe one single taxation, whereby at the end of the day, federal, state, whatever will take their own whatever. It's a very good idea. But my problem is, what are their reasons behind these things they are saying? Do they actually want to implement it in such a way that Nigerians will really benefit from it? That's why I didn't want to look at the gains of implementing, because the implementation might not be for me and you. That's why I took it the other way I took it before, because a lot of these things, they will see, like the issue of this market women, for instance, you talked about now. If actually the government say, okay, every market woman should pay like 500 naira, for instance, at the end of the day, you see what that 500 naira is being used for. If you make another policy statement on that day, people will say, oh yes, this will be this. But I know that if you implement that thing, it's supposed to give us, we're supposed to benefit from it. But at the end of the day, this will be channeled to their own personal pockets. Like the issue of this vehicle paper, proof of ownership, that he just say every year vehicle ownership pay 1,000 naira, for instance. To me, even if it's 2,000 naira, it's fine. Because that will not affect the ordinary Nigerian on the streets.
Let me pause you there.
Only for those who are capable of maintaining vehicle or be paying those revenue to government.
Let me pause you there so that we kind of stretch our minds further from that direction, from that angle. Now, Mr. Audrey Mafido, still on the same, double taxation now. Now, how do you see the government trying to go through this situation? A situation whereby, take for example, in Edo State, there are some manufacturers in Edo State that ordinarily they pay loyalty to the state governments. Then, of course, in Edo State we also have local governments now. Then some of these companies are domiciled in various local governments and all that. So, how do you see manufacturers going through all this if eventually we now have a situation whereby the issue of double taxation is not going to be there, that there will be a single tax system that maybe all the taxes goes to the federal government, or it goes to the state government, or it goes to the local government?
That is what, yes, on Wiki, that is the reason why he took the federal government to court the other time. Yeah, because we can't have state internal revenue service. We also have federal inland revenue service in the same states. So it was clear that the state is supposed to collect tax from these companies and then they'll pay something to the federal post. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah.
But they said, like they said, talk is cheap. And like this present government, I guess they should just tell Nigerians the truth, that we should all be prepared, because this is a tax government. because the past administration, they really dealt with us. And I feel the past administration really, there were a lot of damages those people, most of those appointees did, that this present government, they are trying to cover. At the same time, they are going to probably...
When you say damages, can you be more specific?
No, at least you saw the other day, right now, the former CBN governor, we all know where he is now because of the wicked, the draconian policies he put in place before this present administration came in. And we all saw how it affected the people. It all affected all of us, except them. I don't know if you understand. So these people, they really mismanaged our commonwealth, and then it is not telling on us. And the only way this government can thrive or can maybe do one or two for us is this taxation thing they are bringing on. But for them to now tell us that double taxation is this and that, I know it's not going to work, because like this proof of ownership my brother talked about just now, are we supposed to be paying every year? It does not make sense, because it's been there before, but they are looking for ways to source for funds, and they are looking for, and how do they look for those ways? Is going to be through taxing us in one way or the other. Go to Lagos, for example, where our present president was a governor. We all know how taxes are collected there. We all know how double taxation. If you go to our port till now, my brother, before you drive out of let's say you went to clear your car, before you drive out, you have to pay nothing less the tickets they will give to you. Then there's one they call a fashola ticket. I'm talking about the past administration. They will keep giving you tickets till you, even before you leave outside Lagos. If those agberos will come in and all that. So this present government is telling me that those taxation will not. We should be ready, because there's no money.
Are you saying that this present government is saying that, you're just going by what you are saying now,
okay, that
if you go to Lagos, for example, you go to the ports, the way agberos, in the word that I put it down, the way
they have different bodies, and they wear uniforms. These are
so
not...
for this government to now tell you now that things like that are not going to be done anymore.
So those people that to me, probably maybe that's the digital job we're talking about. So how are they going to bring those guys out of the street? Because those guys, they are used to this kind of lives. I don't know if you understand. We should start telling ourselves the truth. What I expect from the present administration, because now he's no more the president of APC, he's now the president of Nigeria. And being the president of Nigeria is now our father. He should come out plain. That's why I like President Olusegun Obasanjo. He will tell you, come on here and tell you what is happening to us right now, and this is how we are going to go about it. I don't know if you understand.
So the president has not come out.
No, like what I'm saying is, he's still telling us what a lot of people want to hear. You're telling me that there will be no double taxation, and we all know the past administration, what they did to our economy. And how are you going to source of funds? Because I know right now the loans that the past administration took from different international bodies right now is on the high side.
Okay, so as we draw the conclusion on this topic today, Honorable Vincent, what are your parting words? Looking at the policy statements, the advantages and the disadvantages of the statements.
Yes, those policy statements are all fine, but the implementation is where I have problem with.
Okay.
I want to beg Mr. President, if he can hear me, or maybe any of his agents, today the custom just talked about, not today, before today, I would think by a week or two, the custom talks about because of the high rate of dollar, that the cost of import duty on vehicles have increased.
Yes.
Like those that were maybe about 670,000 before, it's now 1.2. 1 something is now 2 something like that. Nigerians are suffering. These vehicle dealers are also said this whole thing will boil down to the end users, which are the ordinary man on the streets. Then those who are going to use their own for commercial purposes will also boil down to the passengers who enter the bus. The same thing with the petroleum subsidy removal, something. The cost of fuel is high. The Nigerians are going to enter, the ordinary man that is going to use fuel will be the one suffering it. The issue of double taxation removal is very perfect, but I want to beg the federal government that if they are implementing it, they should not use it to compensate their boys.
Okay.
They should implement it properly. so that Nigerians will applaud it and say, oh, thank you for doing this for us. Then the issue of creating digital jobs, as I've said, the government should not waste money like what that man did, spending billions to train people on recharge card or how to repair phone. Let them put whatever they want to do regarding digital. Let them put it to our school curriculum, so we can learn from them. They don't want to create jobs, as I've said. There are a lot of bushes along our express roads. Nigeria should go and make sure those bushes, you take like 150 meters from the express road, either by the left and by the right hand side, both sides, plant grains, plant palm tree, plant rubber tree.
You remember they are full of and those bushes.
No, to take off those things, I tell you, open 150 meters from the express road, no full any palm, the place will be open, no bush anymore, no full any man that will come there.
Ojo will not do that kind of a job.
I know, because
that's not the kind of job he wants to do now. It's more than like I do, Mr. Ojo.
No, there are a lot of Nigerians who want such job.
Yeah.
If you go to online, you see all those Benue boys doing yearly work. They will work for you at the end of the year, you pay them money. You see all these Benue boys in the villages, rural area, doing jobs. So you can, if maybe the southern youth said, there are a lot of southern youth that are also doing the same job. I'm a proud farmer today.
You are a proud farmer, but do you know you can be better in that farming? Your farm produce, do you know you can put it in the media space?
Yes.
And the whole world will see it, you sell better?
Yeah, I know.
So if government says that they want to train you on that, is it not good?
Government don't need to train me on that. I can do that to my own personally.
If you are willing, but you know a lot of persons are not doing it because they don't have the opportunity. I mean, for you to be trained digitally, do you know it's money? It costs money. So if government gives you free of charge, it's not good.
That's what I'm saying now. They will say they want to train people. Let me tell you why I'm not too happy with the something. But we just said when you really look at, when you politicize it, when you look at what we start to gain.
And what we also started to gain.
That's why I talked about, let them put it to school curriculum. The government will say they want to train 3 million people, for instance. At the end of the day, they will end up training just like school feeding. They will train like 5 people and tell you they will spend 200 billion. They will train their those are the area I have issues with.
Okay, they should not politicize it.
If you see this during the COVID-19 lockdown, President Buhari was still feeding children, feeding school children.
Okay.
So they shouldn't use it to siphon us. So instead of budgeting money for that, let them put it on school curriculum. People are already paying for school.
Mr.
They will let me through that process.
Can I get your rounding off point now? 2 minutes. 1 minute rather.
Okay, for me, I think I have faith in this present government, considering how they came in. Because a lot of Nigerians feels Mr. President probably, I'm not saying, I mean, a lot of Nigerians felt, oh, we didn't vote for him. He just came in from, you know. So I think it boils down to him to maybe because
make it for himself.
Yeah, make a way for himself, because a lot of Nigerians don't really expect much from him. And I have faith in him because when he was the governor of Lagos State, he really tried. And with these policies, like what I said when I came here, I said it's too early to start judging him and all that. But I think we should give him time, because he don't have anything to how do I put it, is old now, and whatever he does now is going to, at least we hear of the Awolowo Wars and all those people. It's because of the policies they did in their own time, though I was not born then. Till now I still hear about what he did, the free education and all that, which this present administration came in through that, because I guess it's the same philosophy that he is using. All right,
so I want to say a very big thank you to you gentlemen, Honorable Vincent Ogbede and also Mr. Ojo.
Thank you very much
for finding time to come. Just like what the guest said here, that we need to exercise patience with the present administration, and also need to express our faith. You know, because it is not the first time that we are seeing a president or an administration making policy statements. All governments of the world, even in your home as a father, you make policy statements. When you call your children, you call your wife that, hey, from henceforth, nobody does this, or this is what we're going to be doing. All those are policy statements. You know, so that's just the way it is. So I want to say a very big thank you one more time for finding time.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we'll take a short pause now for the news updates at 9:30, and we're going to be right back. You stay tuned.